The only species that can survive in the Dead Sea are bacteria. Since the Dead Sea is devoid of any recognizable life, there are no swimming fish, jumping dolphins, or seaweed that can entangle your toes. The severe salinity has wiped out all living forms except for a few freshly discovered microbes. Of course, avoid drinking the water. Dead Sea mud is in high demand among tourists. Nearly as well known as the water itself are the images of tourists spreading mud to their bodies, letting it dry, and then washing it off in the sea. Deposits of black mud, which are abundant in calcium, magnesium, sodium, and potassium, are found on the seafloor. The Dead Sea may be the biggest free spa in the world. Because of all much mud, the Dead Sea is the biggest natural free spa in the world. However, if you still have a hankering for spa services, there are numerous hotels in the area that offer recuperative spa services, including the well-known Ein Gedi Hotel. These scrolls are Dead Sea artifacts. The Dead Sea Scrolls, which were discovered in a cave at Qumran, include some of the earliest known copies of the Hebrew Bible. Parts of the Dead Sea Scrolls now sporadically tour other museums to enable researchers to carry out their work. The Dead Sea, is it mentioned in the Bible? Given that Israel is awash in biblical history, you might be wondering if the Dead Sea is mentioned in the Bible. Yes, there are several references to the Dead Sea in the Bible, including in the tale of Lot's wife. God changed Lot's wife into a salt pillar when she succumbed to the temptation and turned around to witness Sodom and Gomorrah being destroyed. In the oasis of Ein Gedi, which is located on the western outskirts of the Dead Sea, David found sanctuary when he escaped from King Saul. There's more, too. Dead Sea Scrolls from 2,000 years ago were found in the modern-day Qumran caves. These scrolls include the earliest known Hebrew biblical writings and rank among the most important archaeological finds in human history. Sites like Masada or Ein Gedi provide evidence that the Dead Sea region, often referred to as the Salt Sea in the Bible, played a vital role even in ancient times. By the way, Sodom is right now near the Dead Sea Works plant, southwest of the Dead Sea. This region was cursed and destroyed by God himself, but if you're bold enough, you can still visit it today. Why is the Dead Sea shrinking? Despite being a well-known tourist site in both Israel and Jordan, the Dead Sea is gradually disappearing. The massive Dead Sea Works factories that can be seen to the south are only partially to blame for the ecological calamity. A significant issue is that the Jordan River, the main source of water, has experienced massive diversion over the past few decades. The basin has been gradually shrinking as annual freshwater inflows have decreased, primarily due to agriculture. Because there is no effective cure in sight, the future of the Dead Sea is not particularly promising. The massive Red Sea Dead Sea project, which cost billions of dollars and was intended to bring water from the Red Sea to the Dead Sea, is probably more of an expensive pipe dream. Take note of some facts. First found in 1960, the Dead Sea has a surface size of 1020 square kilometers and lies 390 meters below sea level. 430 meters below sea level, the water's surface barely covers 605 square kilometers at the moment. The Dead Sea is fast disappearing, and the predictions for 2050 are gloomy. If nothing is done immediately, the Dead Sea may evaporate more quickly than the natural cycle suggests. Sea Death Scrolls. Despite its horrible image, the Dead Sea has captivated and attracted millions of people throughout history. Between Jordan to the west and Israel and the Palestinian West Bank to the east is where you'll find the Dead Sea. The clean waters, panoramic views, and perfect selfies at the Dead Sea make it a once-in-a-lifetime experience. To find out more, read some of our favorite Dead Sea facts below. You might be thinking, how dead is the Dead Sea? The answer confirms that the query is valid. The aquatic ecosystems and living organisms in the lake are hampered by the Dead Sea's high salt levels. Even if macrobiotic life exists in small amounts, it largely lives up to its name and shows very few evidence of life. The result is the Dead Sea, an endless expanse of bright, spotless water. So the Dead Sea isn't entirely lifeless after all. Despite being unable to maintain aquatic life due to its high salt content, the lake makes a significant contribution to the network of ecosystems nearby. The Dead Sea contains a system of freshwater springs that replenish the oasis that surrounds the harbor. These oases are home to many aquatic species and mammals that migrate between Africa and Europe. The salt pillar known as Lot's Wife is situated on Mount Sodom in Israel, not far from the western edge of the Dead Sea. The majority of Mount Sodom is composed of the naturally occurring sodium chloride material known as halite, also called rock salt. According to measurements, Mount Sodom is rising at the highest pace in Israel at a rate of 5 to 9 millimeters each year. Due to its special properties, such as its tendency to flow due to flexibility and its lower density, rock salt rises 2.15 tons per cubic meter as opposed to the 2.3 to 2.7 tons per cubic meter common for other deep rocks in the region. The Dead Sea was recognized as one of the saltiest lakes in the world. It has an estimated 33% to 35% salt content, making it 10 times saltier than the average body of water. Due to the high salt content of the lake, it is one of the few places on Earth where your body would naturally float. You'll find that the lake, which draws millions of tourists from all over the world and serves as the backdrop for hundreds of Instagram photos, will smuggle you in its body of water with ease and laziness. Even though the Dead Sea is known for its buoyancy, drowning is still a risk if you aren't careful. The deadly western winds have caused swimmers to be blown over and drown. Avoid sticking your head beneath the water, since doing so increases the possibility of drowning from consuming salt water. When you decide to go, be sure to pick a beach that has a designated lifeguard. In the Dead Sea, you can actually go scuba diving. The spectacular geological salt formations may only be enjoyed by divers with specialized diving skills. Did you realize that the Dead Sea was the world's first spa resort? The restorative properties of the Dead Sea were known by ancient civilizations. The Roman Empire was ruled by Herod the Great. It has been found that mud baths and mineral-rich water baths are effective therapies for severe skin issues. While there are several spas in the harbor, the Dead Sea is nature's spa and a freely accessible public resource. No other place provides a more healing environment than this one. Does life exist in the Dead Sea? Despite the absence of any discernible aquatic life, the Dead Sea is not completely dead. In fact, the Dead Sea contains life. Simply said, you can't see it until you have a microscope or go far enough. Despite being one of the least habitable places on Earth, bacteria and algae have been found to flourish in the Dead Sea. Despite the difficulty of diving in the Dead Sea, some divers were able to find a number of craters that were coated in a variety of bacterial films. But how on earth is that ever imaginable? Scientists have been shocked by the discovery of freshwater springs in the craters because they help certain simple types of life survive in these harsh environments. The lowest elevation on land on the world is where you'll find the Dead Sea. In other terms, this lake is the lowest point on Earth because it is 427 meters below sea level. Driving in the Dead Sea region gives breathtaking views because the roads are so high above the ocean. The Dead Sea lake bed is deepest at a depth of around 2,300 feet below sea level. The Dead Sea, which is roughly 50 miles long and 11 miles wide at its widest point, divides the Transjordanian highlands from the Judean hills in the west. Dead Sea water may be good for your skin. Salt makes up about 34% of the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea's water and mud have long been known to have beneficial effects on skin and general health. Bathing in the magnesium-rich Dead Sea water may help the skin maintain moisture while lowering irritability and dry skin, according to some studies. That was for today. Thank you for staying with us. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe to our channel.